Hi everybody, so today we have to look at the Hermit. Now, the Hermit is a very interesting tarot card. It's actually the card of Virgo as well, and its keywords is guidance, withdrawal, and seeking knowledge. I do have a picture that's from my personal deck, which is available also for pre-order, so you can leave a comment if you're interested. But let's have a look at a few other decks. So first of all, we're going to take a look at the Morgan Greer Tarot. And when we start looking at this, it's very much the traditional, the man, the hooded man with his staff and the little lamp that he's got all alone out in the cold, and it seems like he's looking for something. Now, when we start looking at the keywords, it's guidance, withdrawal, and seeking knowledge. So that's everything that we're seeing in the card. It's the guidance, we see the withdrawal, we see him seeking for something, and it's usually in the knowledge. Now, when we start looking at the original imagery for the card, it's usually an old man walking towards the left of the card. So in short, he'll be walking towards the past of the card, uh, and he's got a staff in his hand. He is dressed in long robes. He's generally hooded. He holds a lantern that lights his way and sheds enough light to see the surrounding wild, uninhabited landscape. In most cards you guys will see nowadays, it's usually a very cold landscape. There's a lot of snow and such going on. Now, on earlier decks, he holds an hourglass rather than a lantern, and he is thought to have evolved from Father Time or from Saturn, the imagery. And when we start looking at the Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan, we once again see that very traditional type of idea. We see the staff, he's cloaked, hooded, we see his guiding light. I love this card. It's very different. This is the Wizard's Tarot, and you can see he's got a little mouse on his shoulder. He's carrying a book, he's carrying a candle, he's still all alone, still got robes on and such. The Druidcraft Tarot goes a bit more to the original, except this one's got a wolf there. I know in a lot of the original tarot imagery, it will have a red robin. Mine as well has a red robin on his shoulder. And then we need to look at something like the Light Years, which is exceptionally modern. And we see it right there. Now, what's interesting is the light is down there. We still see the path, and then the subject is sitting there. At the top, there's a light coming from her as she looks over this vast space. Now, right, let's start. Now, first of all, we need to take heed of the lantern here. The hermit carries the light of wisdom for others to follow, but he doesn't go out of his way to attract attention. This is the type of person that's got so much knowledge, so much wisdom to actually share, but he's not going to look out for being a teacher. The thing is what he's trying to do is teach himself. If somebody comes along his way, he'll share his teachings, but he's not going to go and look for a student, so to speak. You see, this is his personal light. This light doesn't come from just learning knowledge out of books. It's a long-winded journey. It is a light that he has created from his own dreams, from his own wisdom, from his own life experience, from walking. And as we can see that in most depictions, he's got a beard and everything, so he's walked for a very long time. He's lived almost in a type of denial of society so that he can have more of a self-enlightenment. Now, the Hermit card usually represents wisdom, prudence, and illumination, as well as philosophy, introspection, and meditation. The card also illustrates the concept of solitude and the power of silence. And that's why we always see him being very silent. His mouth is closed. He doesn't look like he's got any want to actually speak. It's because of his philosophy. He's constantly asking questions. He pulls within himself with a lot of introspection, a lot of meditation. He's all about finding the the question rather than the answer. He's not specifically looking for an answer, he's looking for the next question, because he knows that an answer is a conclusion, and then it can never be a conclusion on a wheel, on a circle. The one just leads into the next, into the next, into the next, and he understands that. And he is aware that every question that he has in life will create this constant circle going forward, and that it'll never quite end, that he'll never stop asking questions, he'll never stop being enlightened. And that's why he takes these times for himself, and he goes on this introspective journey within himself. This card is very much an internal card. It's not an exterior card that we can see in a person. This is personal. This is exceptionally personal. Now, the Hermit carries a staff. It's a sign of work, duty, and service, showing once again that life experience that he's got behind him, that this isn't just book knowledge. He has experienced life in all of its different shapes and forms, the happiness, the sadness, loneliness, togetherness. He's had a little bit of each of that. And he embodies the qualities of Virgo, which is to be hardworking, to be practical, resourceful, organized. I think we see it the best in the Wizard's Tarot, where he's got all of his books there lined up. He's walking in with a new book there, and he knows where it all is, it all aligns. But somehow a Virgo usually isolates themselves in an effort to live up to their own high standards. In Latin, Virgo means unmarried or self-possessed. And this is very interesting because he has these high standards. He wants to get to that tippy top, which he probably knows that he can't really achieve, not in just one lifetime. And that's why he pulls into himself. The unmarried part of Virgo doesn't necessarily mean somebody who never has somebody else in their life romantically. It is more that they are self-possessed. They're married to themselves. They're married to the wisdom and the lessons that they learn on their way. And even though this card can be an exceptionally good card in terms of its introspection, it can also be a bad card sometimes, because a lot of times when we receive this card, it could mean that we're on this journey of self-isolation in order to grow, where we're on this withdrawal in order to seek knowledge from within. But it can also be a warning not to isolate yourself from the rest of the world, not to hermit completely, because you can only learn so much within yourself. You still need to go outside to go and get the lessons. And from there, the introspection happens. Not everything can always happen from within. Now, the Hermit card is critical. Although usually he is most critical towards himself, he is extremely helpful towards others. Once you seek him out, he's more than willing to share his wisdom that he has accumulated over his journeys. But he is exceptionally critical. He wants everybody to think the way that he does. It's a card that gets irritated and frustrated very easily with the self and even with others at times. Because the thing is as he tries to understand the world, he wants to be understood as well, which is the reason why this card becomes a warning when you withdraw completely into yourself. This card you need to take into account is calling for you to be a little bit more patient, and that all answers, all questions do come in due time. And everybody's got their own journey and their own introspection, just as what you've got. And to just let it happen naturally as well, and to not push it too much all the time. But there's still the part of the card that says the answer is very much inside you. You've already lived this life. You've got so much to give. You've got so much to offer. We know that you're willing to help others, but be patient, because they haven't walked in your shoes. They just haven't had the journey that you have yet. So that is an introduction to the Hermit, and I'm going to be back again real soon for the Wheel of Fortune. All my love to you soon.